Mornings with Jaresha is a radio show and podcast here to equip, empower, and elevate you to the next level by helping you win your mornings and win your day with inspiration and motivation so you can wake, slay, pray, and take action. Today is a fabulous day to be great, have great, and do great. You just have to be willing to unleash your greatness and take action. This show is for everyone from all walks of life who just simply want to feel empowered and motivated to take the next step. Now, let's get it. Let's go. Mornings with Jaresha begins now.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. It's another beautiful day, and I'm so glad you're here with me on Mornings with Jaresha. Let me let me ask you something. When was the last time you really took a moment? Really took a moment to ask yourself, am I settling? Now, whether it's in your relationship, a friendship, or even how you see yourself. Too many of us accept less than we deserve. And you know what? That ends today. That ends today because on today's podcast episode, we are diving into the hard truths about knowing your worth and how to stop settling for anything less than what you deserve. So, we're going to dive in deep. We're going to get a little uncomfortable and leave this conversation today ready to demand better from the people that's all around us and from ourselves. So, if you don't have your coffee this morning, I hope you grab your coffee, your journal, and maybe for you, it's grabbing those things and being in a quiet space, like how I do when I do these recordings, because we're about to have a conversation that could literally change the way you look at your relationships and your life. So let's get into this thing. And each and every show, before we get into this thing, we do the breakfast breakdown. The breakfast breakdown, the breakfast breakdown. I'm super excited because it is an opportunity for us to really look at what we're loving, what we're learning, and what's making us feel empowered. And let's be real, let's be honest. Yesterday, I talked about some things that may be heavy for you. I just feel like we're all in the season where there's so many things that we're having to process, so many things that may be heavy in our lives. And let me tell you, this morning, when I was thinking about my own breakfast breakdown, in which I'm going to share it with you, it is all about what am I really loving? And so, as I reflect on just some of the aha moments that I had after talking about doing yesterday's podcast episode, I'm really loving the reminder that self care isn't selfish, right? It's so very important in our lives. And I felt like I knew this in my 20s and my 30s. I was really learning because that was when my kids were young and I think as you age and as we grow and as we learn, it's just one of those things that I realize I have to take some extra time for myself, period. If you if your life is where you're wearing so many hats, there's so many things that you're doing, it's nice to be able to just take that time, right? Take that extra time for yourself. So whether that is having your favorite coffee and reflecting on the day ahead, whatever that looks like for you, spending some extra time on your skincare, and that has been my thing, and I've talked about it on the show too. But whatever that looks like for you, it makes a difference in how you feel stepping into your day, especially if you're like me and you do those things at night and then you have your routine for the morning. It just is a reminder of those little things that are so, I mean, even though it's something small, it can be something that's so big and have such a huge impact in your life. So those small moments of self-love can truly set the tone for your day, set the tone for just you taking care of you and really prioritizing yourself. So that's something that I'm absolutely loving today. Something that I'm learning. I am learning, and this has been something I've talked about on the show before, but I'm learning how saying no isn't about really shutting people out. It's about creating a space of what truly aligns with your values and your goals. And so for me, every no is actually a yes to something better. And for me, whether it's my peace, whether it's growth, or even a relationship, it's actually saying yes to something better, and something better that's going to truly serve you. So I'm really learning how, going back to that power of the yes and the power of no. And I'm really stepping into that, and I'm loving it, y'all. I'm really, really loving it. So, the last but not least is something that I'm feeling empowered about. And I'm really feeling empowered about both yesterday's episode as well as today. And so, and let me explain why, because it's a topic that I am very passionate about, and that's knowing your worth. It's something that I've always been passionate about. I mean, when I think back to how long have I been passionate about this topic? It goes way back to years ago, even when I can think of moments when I was a teenager and understanding how bullying and all of that worked and seeing people experience that firsthand and how it made them feel, and then also experiencing that myself and knowing your worth. And those that I feel like there's times where people don't understand their worth, or they're dealing with whatever else, or you know whatever is happening in their lives, to where they feel like they have to bully somebody, and then you have the person that is the one that is being bullied and how it makes them feel. And I have always wanted to really walk into this thing of, how can I empower that person? How can I understand? So even as a young child, I can remember, just like I said, experiencing bullying and trying to understand, like, what is it within a person that would make them feel like they have an issue with me, to the point where, it would have to become violent, or whatever kind of response they would have to me, not knowing me. And again, it's knowing your worth, because often we allow people to, whatever's going on in their lives, and then they project that onto us. And then all of a sudden, whatever, however they feel, we allow their thought process, their narratives to become our own. And so today I really hope that in this episode, you are really able to kind of take your power back. You are able to understand that knowing your worth is so important, and there's so much freedom in realizing that you don't have to settle for less than what you deserve in any area of your life. So when you start showing up as someone who knows their value, I feel like the world just adjusts accordingly, right? So we're going to carry these vibes into this episode and really make today one for growth and empowerment, and let's do it. Let's do it. Let's do it. I'm super excited. Really, really excited.
Hey there, busy professionals and small business owners. Are you struggling to keep track of your tasks and projects? Do you find it challenging to stay organized and focused with all the chaos of daily responsibilities? Well, we've got just a solution for you, Todoist. Todoist is a powerful to-do list and task manager designed to help professionals and small businesses like yours streamline their tasks, projects, and so much more. Imagine having all your tasks and projects neatly organized in one place, easily accessible whenever you need them. With Todoist, you can boost your personal and team productivity, enhancing your efficiency and focus throughout the day. I personally use Todoist every single day, and it has revolutionized the way I manage my work and stay on top of my priorities. If you're looking for a tool that will genuinely help you get organized and stay focused, Todoist is your answer. But don't just take my word for it. Try it out for yourself and experience the difference. The link to try Todoist is in the show notes. Trust me, you won't regret it. So, what are you waiting for? Click that link in the show notes and start your journey towards unparalleled productivity today. That's Todoist, where your to-do list becomes a done list.
So today's topic, as I mentioned, it's all about knowing your worth, and not settling. And so the actual title when I was thinking about this, I'm like, okay, I need it to be something that's going to be just powerful. And so it stop settling and redefine your worth in every relationship, every single relationship, whether it's a romantic relationship, if it's a relationship with, a family member, a business relationship, you have to stop settling, period, point blank. So can we agree that that's a part of crushing it, for this year, is understanding who we are, what we bring to the table, the greatness that is within us, and moving accordingly. We have to be willing to do that. So I believe, I truly, truly believe that you have to walk into and understand that you deserve more. You deserve more. And so settling is not an option. But many of us choose to settle. We choose to settle in love. We settle in friendships. We settle even in work relationships. And so, too many of us accept less than we deserve because we're afraid of sometimes rocking that boat. We're afraid of being alone or really stepping into the unknown. But let me tell you something, settling is not living, it's surviving. And so, we're not here to survive, we are here to thrive. We are not here to survive. We are here to thrive. And so I hope that as I give you these points today, that it helps you really redefine your worth in every relationship, and really dig deep into why you settle and how to stop it and how to really demand better from the people that's all around you. And most importantly, from yourself. So, three key points that I'm always going to give you each and every episode, because I'd like have an idea of, you know what, this is what I need to share. These are those aha moments. And I like having points. I like having those key takeaways. I like having things that I can go back and reflect on. And so, because I like it, I hope that you do too. So, each and every episode, you're going to get at least 3 points. But the first point that I really want you to understand when it comes down to redefining your worth is you have to recognize your value before others do. Now, that is in itself, like, you have to really unpack that. You have to unpack that. So you teach people how to treat you by what you allow. Now, you may need to sit with that very thing just for a minute. You really may need to sit and process and think back to all of the things that you have allowed within your life. Because if you don't see your own value, how can you expect anyone else? How can you expect anyone else to see it? Your self worth starts with understanding who you are and your unique qualities that you bring to the table. And so I think this is when it's important for you to truly, again, pull out that journal, that notebook, to write down what makes you special. What makes you special? And make a list of, maybe your talents. Make a list of those things that you feel like are a part of who you are, your greatness. Maybe it's, your kindness or your resilience. And so those are good reminders of things that you can look at each and every day to remind yourself of your value and who you are and your greatness. Oh, it's so powerful. And so here's what I would suggest that you do, and this is my recommendation for you, is to start fresh on a piece of paper and write out your unique qualities. Write out the things that you bring to the table and just keep going. Keep going. Keep going. And let's set a goal of, like 100 qualities. And you're probably thinking like 100. Oh my gosh, like I don't think I can think of 100 things that I can say, great things I can say about myself. But that's where the challenge is, because it's going to force you to see your own greatness. It's going to force you to see the things that you bring to the table, to be able to value yourself. See, your value doesn't decrease based on someone else's inability to see your worth. Understand that. So, in this space of me just being one that's always wanting to empower others, and anyone that I meet, I'm empowering everywhere I go. There's a close friend of mine who who used to, really just call me when there was something that was needed. So, I think we all have those friends or those people in our lives. It was, you only hear from them when they need something, right? And you may have the first, that first thought, or that thought, like how I did, is that, this is what friendship is all about, is helping each other. But what if it isn't mutual? What if it isn't mutual? So what if it's always you're the one giving, 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 and it's not mutual. Like, you can't, if you were to reach out to the same person, they're not going to be the same way that that you are. So giving, and, feel like, oh yeah, I'm here to help. Not everyone is like that. So what happens if one day you decide to say no, like how I did? What happens? So I can tell you that with this particular person, the reaction wasn't it wasn't gratitude. It was anger. And that's when there was that realization that that wasn't a friendship, that it was one-sided. And the unfortunate part about that is we have so many relationships like that where it's one-sided. It can be a relationship, with a boyfriend, girlfriend, a marriage, where it's one-sided. But here's what I'll tell you is the empowering part of all of this. Because when you understand that you have to let go, you understand that you have to take your power back, you have to let go of that relationship. It can be very painful, but I'll tell you that it's very freeing as well. There, in a relationship, it should never be one sided. Hear me. In a relationship, it should never be one sided. Never. So, like I mentioned before, your value doesn't decrease based on someone's inability to see your worth. You have to recognize your value before anyone else does. And I say you have to move accordingly. So the second thing that I want to mention is how important it is to set boundaries. Now, I talked about setting boundaries yesterday on yesterday's pod episode, and how important it is to really enforce them. But let me tell you this, because like I said yesterday, boundaries, sometimes we feel like boundaries are, a selfish act, and they're not. They're not selfish. They're absolutely necessary. So if someone can't respect your boundaries, they don't respect you. And it's, the tough part about that is that's just the way that it is. Like, that's the hard truth. But it's really one that you need to hear. I needed to hear that as well. So whether for you is saying no to, the constant negativity from a friend, from a partner, or standing up to a friend or partner who takes you for granted, boundaries are your way of saying, I value myself too much to let this slide. I value myself way too much, way too much. And that's where again, it's about taking that power back. How much do you value? And that's going back to the first point, is recognizing your value. Because if you don't recognize your value, you're going to let everything just roll over you. You're going to let anyone just walk all over you. So you have to say, I value myself way too much to let this thing just slide. Because understand this, you get in life what you tolerate. You get in life what you tolerate. Now, I can tell you this. I can tell you this, that I was in a relationship, and I know so many that have been in the same situation and still may be in this situation, where I would share, some of my biggest achievements, my biggest accomplishments, and it was only met with negativity and indifference. And so this one particular time, I actually had a huge opportunity. Like it was a huge opportunity and like it was huge for me. And let me tell you what the response was. The response was, "That's good. Oh, that's nice. That's nice." And it was just in that response when it hit me. I was celebrating. I was celebrating someone who wouldn't celebrate me. I was celebrating because I am one that always wants to empower someone. But are you celebrating with someone who wouldn't celebrate you? Let that sit with you. And I don't care if it's a partner, if it's a friend. We have to be willing to evaluate these relationships that we have and understand that sometimes walking away from that relationship it will hurt. But I'll tell you this, for me, it opened the door to people who truly supported me. So sometimes we have to be willing to close those doors to allow other doors to open. Are you celebrating someone who wouldn't celebrate you? Are you celebrating someone who wouldn't celebrate you? Ugh, when I tell you, it's those moments when you just go in deep thought and you're like, my goodness. And then this could be your confirmation. Because I'll tell you, I've had all kinds of confirmations over the years. This could be the confirmation that you needed to really, really, really reflect and really understand and redefine your worth. So, the last point that I'm going to give you is that understanding that loneliness is better than toxicness. And so, when we understand what that is, it's like we've all been there that, staying in a relationship that drains us because we are really afraid of being alone. And, at the end of the day, understand this, there is so much power in solitude. There is power in solitude, even if it's just for a short time. I would never recommend staying or being in a toxic relationship. I don't care if it's a work relationship. I don't care if it's a friendship, if it's a partner. It's never okay to be in a toxic relationship. And I think that reason why I say there's power in solitude, it's not me saying that you have to be by yourself forever. No, I would never say that because I don't feel like that's how we were created. And this is from a spiritual standpoint. I don't feel like we were created to just be alone. But what I'm saying is the time that you have, that you are kind of taking that power back and saying, you know what, there's an understanding there's power in solitude. It is the time that you have to really build yourself up, to develop yourself, to improve, to discover what you truly want and create a space. Create a space for yourself. Create a space for better people to be able to enter your life. See, sometimes you have to let go of the good to make room for the great. And when you recognize and understand that thing, you move accordingly. So I've talked about how it can be like you can be in a toxic relationship, you can be in a toxic environment, you can be in a toxic workplace. And a lot of times it's not worth the stress. And we have to understand that. We have to understand, how, like if we're going to look at the toxic workplace or the toxic environment, if it's a place where you're overworked, you're unappreciated, there has to come a time in your life where you see that you've settled, that you see that you're stressed, where you're more important, where you understand that your mental health is more important, and you move accordingly. See, a lot of us, it takes, things to occur within our lives to reach that breaking point where we start doing things different. And this may be that confirmation for whatever you've been contemplating, whatever you've been thinking as far as relationship wise in your life. This may be that confirmation that you needed to really sit down with yourself and get clear and looking at redefining your worth and moving accordingly and doing what you need to do for you. Because let me tell you something, I feel like it is time for us all to wake up. Too many of us are out here settling because we think that's the only available option, settling for crumbs when we deserve the whole entire world. We deserve it all. And that is to quote Kendrick Lamar, we deserve it all. Understand that. And we're settling because we're scared. We're scared of rejection. We're scared of being alone. We're scared of not being good enough. But let me tell you something, fear is an absolute liar. You are worth more than secondhand love, than half hearted friendships, and toxic work environments. You are not the problem, your environment is. So stop shrinking yourself to fit into these places that don't deserve you. Stop apologizing for demanding respect, love, and recognition. When you walk into a room, and I've said this before on this show, you have to own it. When you speak, be heard. When you set a boundary, stand firm. You are not here to play small. You are here to be great. You are here to be great. So I feel like this is your moment. You know, on this show, we talk about executing on our goals, our dreams, and walking into our purpose. And in order for us to do that, that means we're not settling. We are not settling. And so, if that means you need to look in the mirror and remind yourself each and every day that I am worthy, I am enough, I deserve the best in life, and I won't settle for less, then let today be the day that you stop settling. Let today be the day that you step into your power and redefine your worth. This is the year. This is the year that we get our head in the game and crush it. And in order for that to happen, you have to stop settling. It is time for you to redefine your worth and stop settling. Redefine your worth. Now, like I say each and every episode, it is time to execute on your goals, your dreams, and walk into your purpose. Let's get it. Let's go.
Hey there, leaders and visionaries. Are you ready to elevate your game and unlock your maximum potential? I'm thrilled to introduce you to the Boss CEO Movement, a dynamic community crafted for leaders, motivators, and influencers just like you. Created by Jaresha Moore-Smith, this movement is your gateway to personal and professional transformation. So why join the Boss CEO Movement? Jaresha created this movement to unite individuals eager to invest in their growth and unleash their full potential. So if you want to join this community, you'll embark on a life-changing journey filled with growth and opportunity designed to boost your leadership and personal growth skills, ignite your motivation, and empower you to positively influence those around you. If you're ready to transform your life and lead with purpose, join the Boss CEO Movement, where leaders, motivators, and influencers come together to unlock their maximum potential. You'll engage in challenges, in an accountability, and so much more that will enhance your leadership abilities, boost your motivation, and expand your influence. As a member, you'll gain personal growth, elevate your leadership skills with insights and strategies, community support to connect and grow with like-minded individuals, motivation boosts to stay inspired with daily challenges and accountability, resource, access, and gain exclusive tools to help you reach your full potential and influence expansion to learn, to empower, and inspire those around you. So don't miss the opportunity to become the best version of yourself. Visit the show notes and join
the Boss CEO movement today.
Thank you for listening to the Mornings with Jaresha show. Follow me on all social media platforms: Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, and YouTube at Jaresha Moore. Email Jaresha at empoweronpurpose.com and text 937-938-6373. And have a great day on purpose.